Hi, hey, hello. How's it going? It's Emily, and we're going to be starting the vlogs for March. So it is currently the 6th, so we're starting later than intended. I did film and post the TBR video, was working on that last weekend, meant to start the vlog on Monday, but didn't do it on Monday, and then was commuting Tuesday and Wednesday, yada, yada, yada. So it's currently Thursday, but I have actually finished a couple of books. So I have finished A Pirate's Life for Tea, and this was on that TBR for a book with a person on the cover was the prompt. And so this is the second book after Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and so they're not actually at their tea/bookshop. They're, for reasons, this is the second book in that series, as I said, and it's not a companion series. It very distinctly follows the events of the first book. So you do need to read them in order, because she's not going to introduce the characters, there's no setup here. It's following those events. They do go on a new adventure, so that part of it is newly established and wrapped up in this book, but it's definitely following the first one. And so they're going on, some of the ramifications of what happened at the end of the first book. So they have that thread that's continuing on in this book. There's a task they need to accomplish. And in order to accomplish that, they kind of get caught up in some other goings on and go on an adventure. As the cover would suggest, it is an adventure on the high seas, or at least on water, on this boat. And so it would be perfect for summer. Actually, I think this would be super fun to read in the summer, just as a summer cozy fantasy. The first one definitely very good in the winter time cozy vibe, because the town that they're in and they set up this tea shop in is very cold. But again, they leave their tea/bookshop and go adventuring elsewhere on water. So it would be great for summer. But I loved following Kianth and Reyna again, and their dynamic is just so much fun. We're also introduced to a couple of new main characters who I thought were really fun, and I had a lot of fun with their dynamic and what was going on between them. I loved the adventure in this one. It's just kind of a perfect vibe, or a perfect balance of this character work and the plot and what's going on, but still feeling cozy even when there are some stakes. So I was having a great time with this one. I also read The Blood Orchid by Kylie Lee Baker. So this is the follow-up to The Scarlet Alchemist, which I read last year. I think I read it relatively soon after it came out, and really enjoyed. And this is the second book of a duology, so I'll kind of give some vibes and plot stuff from the first one, and then give overall feelings for the second one. So in this one, we're following a woman who is trying to be an alchemist, a royal alchemist, and she comes from a very poor village, and she's trying to be a royal alchemist in part to be able to help her family financially, and has to go through these different tests to be able to do this. She's one of the first women. Technically, women now can take this test, but that doesn't mean it's easier that everyone wants them to be taking this test to be able to be a royal alchemist. This is historically set. And so she's going through those challenges, and there's a lot of stuff going on at the palace, and she finds out a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and is trying to deal with that, make things better. So she's trying to also help her family. She comes across someone who is wanting her to bring him back to life, but he hasn't died yet. And so there's that weird situation going on, and he is also tied up in everything that's going on at the palace. This book follows right where we left off in the first one, and she is continuing. She's again trying to make things better and fix what's going on. She needs to go. This is also kind of a quest one. She needs to go on a quest to find certain things, and is trying to solve a mystery or solve a riddle to be able to get certain things, get certain objects, and be able to get what she needs to help fix what's going on. And the series is just so much fun. Just the plot, it's pretty plot forward. There's just a lot of stuff happening that's pretty exciting. I love the character dynamics and her relationship with her family. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and there were just a lot of fun twists and turns, and I just overall have really enjoyed this duology. Would highly recommend. So I just finished that one this morning, like early in the morning, and so next on deck is, I accidentally said Cursed Crowns in my TBI video, but put up an image of the correct one, and I was able to find a copy at my library, so I've checked it out from the library for the time being. But yeah, next on deck is Burning Crowns by Catherine Weber and Catherine Doyle, and this is the third and final book in the series that starts with Twin Crowns. And yeah, so very excited to jump into this one, and I'll just briefly mention a little bit about the first book, because again, there's only going to be so much that I want to say, and that's going to be a whole problem with trying to vlog this month. Is a lot of what I'm trying to read is continuations of or final books in series, so makes it a little hard, but we'll do our best. So these are twins who, one of them grew up in the palace, one of them grew up in a coven, and for reasons, the one who grew up in the coven needs to take the place of the one that's in the palace. The one that is in the palace, they're going to try to make her go off and, meet people in this coven, try to better the position of the coven. Politically, there's a lot of politics going on, and the covens and witches are being targeted, and so they're trying to stop that. The coven is trying to stop that situation. And so, for reasons, they switch places, and, of course, the one in the palace is learning more about the world. She's never really left and gone out very far and kind of ventured into the world to really see what things are like for people. And so they kind of want to open her eyes, and, then there's the one in the palace trying to pretend like she is her twin sister and living court palace life, even though that is not at all what she's trained her entire life to do. So it's kind of a fun dynamic, and ultimately, again, a lot of the politics going on with these different groups and the witches and the people in power in the palace. Super fun. I really enjoyed this one. And then, the twins coming together and working together. So the second one I also had a lot of fun with. Just a lot of fun magic involved, and I really like the twins. They're very different, and come from different perspectives and challenge each other, but also grow to love each other as sisters. So it's just a really fun dynamic. They each have their own love interest situation going on. The romance isn't really, I think, what I'm going in this series for. Like, it's there, it's fine, it's not really a driving force for me. It's a relatively small part of the plot and small part of the series, but it is definitely there and definitely present. But yeah, that's not what's keeping me going in this series for sure. It's just all of the politics and the magic and the sisterly bond between them. So I'm going to be starting this one next. That's what I am about to be doing coming up. So yeah, I will hopefully be able to check in once I make some progress in Burning Crowns. So this is more going to end up being mostly a wrap of what I read in March. So it is almost the end of March. We are back from a trip to Sweden, which there will be a vlog for, and I will talk about the books that I read during the trip or around the time of the trip in that vlog. So there will be 4 books that I talk about in that vlog, so look forward to that. And so when I left off from the first clip, I was about to start Burning Crowns by Catherine Weber and Catherine Doyle. I've since finished it and has since been returned to the library. I held it up in the last clip, so I'm just going to give editing Emily a break and not put it in here, but it was in the last clip. I loved it. I loved it. I love that series. That series is so much fun. I love the action in this one. I still love the romantic elements. Again, they're still pretty minor and not a huge reason I love the series. It's definitely not the main reason I love the series, but I do enjoy the romantic elements. But I just love the sisterly bond. I love just the action and the politics that's going on. It's just such a fun series. It is such a fun series. So I definitely love that one. I also, before the trip, read Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune, and this is a sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea, so not a companion. I definitely recommend reading House in the Cerulean Sea before this, because you get to know the two main characters, Arthur and Linus, and you get to know the kids. So in this one, a couple of things are happening. The powers that be are trying to target Linus. Linus was the main character who was working for the Department for the Protection of Magical Youth, whatever. He's working for the government to evaluate orphanages for magical children and make sure that the kids are well taken care of. And in the first book, he goes to the orphanage of Arthur Parnassus, or the orphanage run by Arthur Parnassus, and all of the kids, he gets to meet all of the kids and falls in love with the kids and Arthur, and anyway. So in the second book, the powers that be don't like that he has kind of shifted his position on what was going on at the department that he worked on, and so they're trying to target him and discredit him. And so he is needing to basically testify about things in his past, and people are kind of going after him. So he's needing to try to fight that. They are also trying to take on a new kid at the orphanage. And so those are kind of the two main story lines that are threaded together here. And I love this so much. Just the charm is still there. I still love all these characters. I love all of these kids. It was great to spend more time with them. It was great to meet a new kid and see him integrate himself into the orphanage and into the lives of the other kids and Arthur and Linus, and how they learn to take care of that kid while in the midst of being under all of this scrutiny. And yeah, I loved it. It's just so heartwarming and just a hug of a book, as well as the first one. So I really feel like if you liked the first one, I do feel like you'll like the next one. So there's that. And then we went on the trip. So again, I will talk about the books Fury Song. Just leaving the party here. I will talk about these books in that vlog. When I came back, I also wanted to finish another series. So I read Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez, and I love this duology so much. So I did finish this duology. This is the second of the two books, and I absolutely love this one. I love the action and the twists and the turns in this series. I love our main character, and I felt so much for our main character in this one. She's going through a lot and really is having a hard time finding people she can trust. And so, in the first one, she gets word that her parents split time between Argentina, where she's from, and Egypt. And so she gets word from her uncle, who is also in Egypt and works with her parents, that her parents have died. And she's kind of suspicious. She goes to Cairo to figure out what has gone on. And, she is finding out things about the work that her parents were doing. There are a lot of twists and turns. This one picks up right where we left off from the first book. And of course, in the epilogue, it makes you want to keep reading. I'll just say that. Because you just know that there's going to be more stuff that's going to be going down in this one that needs to happen and get worked through. So the first, I think third, is dealing with the ramifications of stuff at the, well, in that epilogue. But yeah, again, picks up right where we leave off, is working through some of those issues, but she's still trying to resolve the larger question of what happened to her parents, what were they involved in, how can she protect herself while still trying to figure out what happened to them, because she's starting to get involved with some dangerous people as she's trying to investigate what's going on. The romantic elements are fun in this series. It's not the hugest part of the series. I think it's a pretty plot forward series, but the romance is still fun, and I just adore this series so much. It was just so action-packed and fun and entertaining, and I was just gasping through all the twists and turns here. So I have since started another book so that this isn't going to finish a series. I believe this is going to be a trilogy, but I at least wanted to continue with a series, and have started The Night is Defying, and this is the follow-up to The Stars Are Dying. And so again, we pick up where we leave off in The Stars Are Dying, and this one we're following Estrella and Night. And Estrella is in a bad situation at the beginning of the first book. Parts of her memory are gone. She doesn't really know who she is, and she's kind of in a bad situation that she's trying to get out of, but there's someone trying to control her. And so she at one point meets our other main character, Night, and there's kind of that instant fated connection between them, and she's trying to figure that out. She's trying to figure out how to escape. There are vampires in this series. There are a few different types of vampires, and to get protection from the vampires, there is this tournament that happens. I think, is it once a century? There's a tournament that happens, and so she, through circumstances, kind of ends up tied up in this tournament and trying to figure out her connection to Night, trying to figure out who she is, and why her memories are gone. She's finding out some answers towards the end of the book, but of course that opens up a whole new series of questions about where she fits into the larger picture of things. And so we're picking up here where we left off. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not that far in, so not many thoughts yet. I'm only 45 pages in, but yeah, I don't know. I enjoy the writing style. I enjoy our characters here. The audiobook I have enjoyed, so I'm gonna keep going with this one. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to more of it today as I get some things done, although I do have a lot of video work to catch up on. So hopefully I will be able to do that. And I now am starting to commute in every day. So not by choice, to be clear, but it's something we're now being forced to do. So I'm gonna need to figure out how I can possibly try to keep up with any sort of video work while being forced to commute every day, because it is a long commute for me. We'll see if I can. I honestly don't know what it's going to look like or if I'm going to be able to, but I will give it my best shot. You know what I mean? I will give it my best shot, and we'll just see what we can do. So anyway, hopefully I will be able to actually check in as I continue reading this, as I'm commuting in this week. Tomorrow is the last day of March, so I don't think I will finish this between today and tomorrow, so it might be Tuesday the 1st when I actually finish this, but again, hopefully I'll be able to check in and give some more thoughts while being able to commute, but who knows. Anyway, all right, later. So here to wrap up this vlog, because predictably I did not check in while I was commuting all of last week, but I have finished The Night is Defying, and I actually really enjoyed this one. The first third to half was maybe a third, maybe a little more than a third, was a bit slow and just seemed to be characters having a bunch of conversations with each other. And I do enjoy the writing. It's a pretty flowery writing style, and I do enjoy it, so that was carrying me through. Once we got to the second half, things really started to pick up a bit more. Our character is Estrella is trying to find out more about her memories and who she is. So she's found out some key information about who she is, towards the end of the last book, but she's still trying to get more of her memories, trying to figure out where she fits in and where she belongs and who she should trust, and kind of, again, just where she fits into this world. War is brewing, and she's kind of caught in between the world of the Celestials, the world of the vampires, different groups in this world. She's kind of caught between some things, and so again, helping her unlock or getting her memories unlocked is really going to be key for her to figure out where she fits in. And so she's trying to do that while trying to navigate everything that's going on. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I definitely am looking forward to I think it's going to be a trilogy, so I think it's going to be the third and final one coming out at some point. I need to double check when, but I'm excited for it. So so I did actually complete all of the books that I intended to read, and we're on my March TBR. So I should have mentioned this in my April TBR video to kind of check back in on March, make sure that I actually read the books that I said I was going to. And anyway, I did. Throughout this vlog or the Sweden vlog, between those two vlogs, I will have read all of the books that were on the TBR Grand Prix TBR for March. So that was a success, and I'll be sure in future TBR videos to mention how I did in the previous month's TBR, but hopefully people watch the vlogs too and find out. So mission successful for March, and hopefully we'll be just as successful in April. But it'll take a while I think this one will, hopefully I'll be able to get it edited and kind of get everything processed and up soon. So this one will be out long before the Sweden vlog will be. But just trust me that between those two vlogs, we have everything we need for the month of March. And as I said, it'll take a minute because it's a lot of clips to organize, and they're on my phone, and Matt has some of the clips, so I need to just kind of get my stuff together to edit that one, so it'll take a while. But anyway, I had a really fun month in March, a fun reading month in March. So so we'll leave this vlog here. I'm also about to start my vlog for April, so look forward to those. But thank you so much for watching. Sorry this was more of a wrap up than any sort of true reading vlog, but per usual, that's kind of the trend, so it is what it is. But thank you for watching this vlog / wrap up of what I read in part of the month of March, and subscribe for more bookish content, and look forward to more vlogs for the month of April. And I'll also be sure to leave more information below about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.